So I just wanted to talk about a couple things that I saw in the uh, review yesterday. So with inequalities, something to remember is that they're not equal to one another. So that's how I get the word inequality. Okay, they're not equal. Okay. The other thing is that the specific words in the inequality statement tells you what symbol to use. So some of you, I think, had issues with that. So I'm going to give you some examples of some specific words. So just remember that these words are not all of them, right? But there's just some of them that kind of tells me exactly what to do. So I'm going to start with a symbol that is greater than, right? Um, I jumped ahead of myself though. So you want to also remember that it's a set of answers. Okay, it's more than one exact answer. If I have an equation like x equals 2, that means that x can only equal 2. You can only use that. But if I have an inequality, I could use a whole bunch of numbers that are on the number line that would be true for that. And I'll talk about that more when we get to an example. Okay, so with the word greater than, okay, you could say is more than. So like is has to be more than $5. So it has to be more than. It can't be $5. It has to be more than. You could also say at least. It's at least 7 minutes long. So it's x is greater than 7 minutes. It can't be 7 minutes because it has to be at least seven. Okay. Is less than is another one. Okay. Is less than. And then not smaller than. So it's not smaller than 10 cookies. So the box has to have at least 10 cookies in it. So it's not smaller than. Right. That's my greater than symbol. Okay, I'm going to move on to the less than symbol next. Okay, so with less than, there's some specific words that you use. So the first one is smaller than. So 5 is smaller than 7, right? So 5 is less than 7. Or another one is less than, right? Is smaller than, is less than, below, right? So it's 5 degrees. It's going to be at least 5 degrees below zero. So it's going to be if x is less than -5. Okay. Now I want you to remember something. Okay. This is the other thing that I noticed. It is an open dot with less than. Now I'm going to write closed dot for greater than, and that's not true. You'll see when I go back and erase it later. But less than and greater than are both open dots. That means it's not including that number. Now some of you are like, well, what in the world? It's on that number on the number line. Yes, it is, but it's open, which means it's everything right next to it. It could be like 1/100th of a thousandth of a millionth next to it, and it's still true as long as it's next to it on the correct side. Okay, so here are some words for less than or equal to. So maximum of, at most, not more than, is not greater than 6. So it means it's including, right? There's a glitch in the screen. Okay, so that is a closed dot because if you look, I have half of an equal sign underneath my less than sign, which means it's including that number. The or equal to means it's including that number, so it's a closed dot. Okay, so then I'm going to go over to greater than or equal to. So here's some words for greater than or equal to. If you look, it is minimum, so it's a minimum of 10 hours. So I have to work at a minimum of 10 hours, which means I have to work 10 or greater. So it's x is greater than or equal to 10. It could be at least. Another one is not less than a number. So not smaller than. Okay. So that means it's including that number. Okay, including that number. And that is a closed dot. Remember, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to is a closed dot. And this is where I was like, crap, why do I have 3 closed dots? That's not right. So then I go back over to greater than, and I'm like, nope, scratch that, scratch that. Let's go in and fix it. So that is an open dot. Okay, so less than or greater than are open dots, and then less than or equal to or greater than or equal to are closed dots. So here's my first example. So I saw that we struggled on this on the review packet, the review Microsoft form, you could say. So x is greater than 5. If you look at my arrow, look at my arrow. Greater than is pointing to the right. So it's an open dot and it's going to the right. So remember, the 5 tells me where to put the dot. The sign tells me which way my arrow goes and if the dot is closed or open. So the sign tells me that it is open and it's pointing to the right because it's all numbers greater than 5 that are true. So it could be 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,000, 2,042, 7,684. All of the numbers to the right could be true. So there's so many different answers for that. Okay, let's look at our next one. X is less than or equal to -3. So think about it. Is it closed dot or open dot? It's a closed dot because it's or equal to, which means it's including -3. So then I'm going to the left this time because look, my arrow is pointing to the left, okay? And it is telling me it is a closed dot because it's or equal to. So it's a closed dot. So it's all numbers going to the left and -3. Here's my next one. X is less than 12. Now, some of you are like, wait a minute, it's not in the middle of your number line. That's okay. As long as it can show you some numbers to whatever side you're going to, it's okay. So if you look, it's an open dot because it's just less than, and it's on 12 because it's x is less than 12. So it's all numbers to the left. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, -3, -7, all of those could be true. Okay, here's my last example. So I said y is greater than or equal to -1. And some of you are like, oh my goodness, I don't know where -1 is on the number line. Well, think about it. It's between 0 and -2. And it is a closed dot. Got to zoom back in. It is a closed dot because it's or equal to. And then if you look, it's greater than or equal to, so it's a closed dot and it's going to the right. It's going to the right. Okay, closed dot, going to the right. The -1 tells me where to put my dot on the number line. Okay, the symbol tells me the direction and if it is closed or open. So, some things to take away from today, right? I just gave you like a really quick snippet that can hopefully help you with a couple questions on the test. But so remember this. Here's some things to remember. First thing, inequalities means that it's not equal, okay? Are not equal. And they're also a set of numbers. That's what I also want you to remember. It's not just one number. If the number is in the inequality, it's not just that number. It's whatever is telling you is included in that set of numbers. It could be a ton of numbers, okay? Look for keywords. That's going to really help you and tell you the sign. Okay, less than or greater than is a open dot. Less than or equal to. And greater than or equal to is a closed dot, right? It means it's including that number. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out, kind of give you just like a little look at the whole entire thing. Okay, I know it's pretty quick, but I think it'll really help you on the test today. So please watch this before you do the test.